There's something unsettling about her. Not because she's loud, not because she demands attention, but because she sees things no one else does. While everyone is distracted by words, she's reading what's behind them. While people are trying to impress, she's quietly analyzing. And the most dangerous part? She doesn't react, she just adjusts. And by the time you realize what she noticed, she's already 10 steps ahead. This is what a Sigma female sees, that everyone else completely misses. The Sigma female isn't defined by dominance or submission. She exists outside the hierarchy entirely. She observes more than she speaks, processes more than she reveals, and understands more than people are comfortable with. But what makes her truly different is not her silence, it's her perception. Because while most people are focused on what's obvious, she's focused on what's hidden. Let's break down the things she sees that others overlook every single day. 1. The gap between words and intention. Most people listen to what is being said. The Sigma female listens for what doesn't match. She notices when someone says, "I'm happy for you," but their tone tightens just slightly. She catches the micro hesitations, the forced smiles, the subtle shifts in energy. Subtle because she understands something most people ignore. Words are often rehearsed, but intention always leaks. And once she sees that gap, she never unsees it. 2. Power dynamics in every room. Walk into any room, and most people see individuals. The Sigma female sees a structure. Who's trying too hard to be liked? Who's quietly in control? Who's pretending to have power? And who actually does? She notices who interrupts, who gets interrupted, and who never needs to speak to be heard. This isn't judgment, it's awareness. Because she understands that every interaction is shaped by invisible hierarchies, and once you see them, you can never go back to being blind. But this is where it gets even deeper. Because what she sees next changes how she trusts people entirely. Patterns in human behavior. Most people judge moments. The Sigma female studies patterns. She doesn't care about what you did once, she watches what you do repeatedly. Because consistency reveals truth. Anyone can fake kindness for a day. Anyone can pretend to care in the moment. But patterns? Patterns expose who you really are. And once she identifies your pattern, she doesn't argue with it. She simply adjusts her distance. 4. The cost of attention. Attention is currency, and the Sigma female knows exactly how expensive it is. She sees how people chase validation, how they perform for approval, how they trade authenticity for acceptance. And she quietly opts out, because she understands something most don't. The more you need attention, the easier you are to control. So instead of chasing it, she protects it. Her focus is selective, her energy is guarded, and her presence is earned. 5. Emotional manipulation disguised as care. Not all kindness is genuine, and the Sigma female sees through it instantly. She notices when someone helps, but expects something in return. When someone gives, but keeps score. When concern becomes control. She recognizes guilt tactics, passive-aggressive behavior, emotional pressure masked as love, and instead of confronting it directly, she does something far more powerful. She disengages, because she knows you can't manipulate someone who refuses to play the game. But what she sees next is why people often misunderstand her completely. The difference between loneliness and solitude. Most people fear being alone. The Sigma female studies it. She sees how people stay in the wrong relationships just to avoid silence, how they surround themselves with noise to escape their own thoughts. But she chooses solitude because she understands that being alone is not the same as being empty. And this is where people get it wrong. They think she's distant, cold, disconnected, but in reality, she's just not dependent. 7. False confidence versus real self-assurance. Confidence is loud these days, but the Sigma female sees the difference. She notices who constantly needs to prove themselves. who dominates conversations, who seeks validation through attention, and she recognizes it for what it is: compensation. Because real confidence, it doesn't announce itself. It doesn't compete for attention, it simply exists. And that's exactly how she moves: quiet, certain, unshaken. 8. How people reveal themselves under pressure. Pressure is the ultimate truth teller. And the Sigma female pays close attention to it. She watches how people react when things go wrong, when they don't get their way, when they feel threatened. Because that's when masks fall. That's when patience disappears. When ego takes over. When true character shows itself, and she remembers it. Not to judge, but to understand who she's really dealing with. 9. The unseen value of a silence. Silence makes most people uncomfortable, but to the Sigma female, it's information. She sees how quickly people fill the silence, how they reveal too much, how they try to impress, explain, justify. And she simply listens. Because silence creates space. And in that space, people expose themselves. And this last thing she sees is the reason she rarely explains herself to anyone. That not everyone is meant to understand her. This is the hardest truth, and the one most people never accept. The Sigma female sees that understanding is rare. Not everyone will get her perspective. Not everyone will recognize her depth. Not everyone will value what she sees. And instead of forcing it, she accepts it. Because she knows being understood by everyone often means you're not seeing anything unique at all. So she stops explaining, stops convincing, stops shrinking, and simply continues observing, moving, evolving on her own terms. The Sigma female doesn't need to be the loudest in the room, because what she sees gives her an advantage no one notices until it's too late. She reads what others miss, understands what others ignore, and moves in ways others can't predict. So the next time you meet someone quiet, observant, hard to read, be careful, because while you're trying to figure her out, she's already figured out everything about you. If this made you see people differently, you're already thinking at a deeper level than most. Subscribe for more psychological insights, and watch the next video: the Sigma female shadow side nobody talks about. Because what she hides is even more powerful than what she sees.